Hi, I'm Charity Burgess. I'm the founder of Silk Tree Healing Center and a licensed acupuncturist in California. I work in San Francisco. I like to treat many different types of patients, particularly with chronic illnesses and pain-related issues. But mostly I like to treat women's health issues. I like to treat women who are having menstrual problems, maybe some emotional ups and downs around their periods, and also fertility issues. I'm also really interested in treating prenatal and postpartum care. I came to Chinese medicine in college. Actually, I was introduced to Chinese medicine. I was a religious studies minor in my undergrad years in Virginia, and there was a course about Eastern religions and their corresponding medical systems where I learned about Taoism and Chinese medicine. And it was a very interesting class for me, and I was really grateful to learn about it. And later, after I graduated, I moved to Los Angeles, where my life was very stressful. And as a young 20-something, I didn't have really great coping skills for managing my stress. I was in the car a lot. My jobs were really high maintenance, and it was taking a toll on me physically. And I had remembered the course on Chinese medicine and came across a Chinese medicine college in Los Angeles where they had a student clinic, and I went there for my first treatment, and I was so impressed with how relaxed I was when I left that treatment. I felt like 10 years of stress had been relieved from my body, and I kind of floated on a cloud out of there, and the feeling lasted for quite some time. So acupuncture is a very interesting traditional practice. It's based on the ancient Chinese theory about energetic meridians that run through the body. And these are similar to blood vessels, except that they cannot really be detected just yet in Western science. But somehow they still work. The Chinese figured them out. They believe through deep meditation practices, they actually started to feel the meridians running through the body. And that's how they discovered acupuncture points. And so what we do is we take very thin needles, they're hair thin, and we put them in different points to access these different meridians' energy. We can take some energy away if there's too much, we can add some energy if there's not enough, and we can move the energy if it's stuck. And so that's, in a nutshell, that's how acupuncture works. We are just manipulating the energy in the body to get things flowing more smoothly. And because blood has a very, very tight relationship with energy, it also moves too. So you get the energy and the meridians moving, then you're going to get the blood in the body moving, and so everything kind of reaches a homeostasis after that. So at Silk Tree Healing Center, we use traditional Chinese medicine modalities, which include acupuncture, of course, and herbal medicine. Here we use two different formulas of herbal medicine, two different brands. We use the evergreen formulas, the classic formulas, and then their own private collections. We also use health concerns if patients like tablets. Both of these companies use really high quality tested herbs. We also use the Chinese medicine moxibustion, which is the Chinese medicine treatment of using dried mugwort that you would burn over certain points in the body. You can burn it directly. It looks like a cigar stick. You can burn it directly over a point just to heat the point, or you can put it in a box and set it on the body, on the abdomen or the lower back, to help warm up the entire area. This works very well for people who get cold very easily, and it works very well for other things too. Cupping is a very interesting therapy. What we do is we take some glass cups and we suction them to the body to pull any stagnation, usually out of just the muscles and the tissues that comes out of the body. And you can see it leaves a red mark or a bruise, and they're different on different people. The color that shows up, it actually is diagnostic. It lets us know what's happening in the body. If it's a very pale mark, it often indicates that someone doesn't have a whole lot of blood. If it's a very dark mark, then maybe they have a lot of blood stagnation. But One thing that you don't hear too much that it's used for, and this is something that cupping is really effective for, is if you catch a cold or a flu, or what we say in Chinese medicine, a wind attack, the wind pathogen. If you catch it in its very early stage, there are certain points on the body that if you do cupping on them, it actually extracts the pathogen from the body. So you can actually prevent someone from getting very sick with a cold or a flu if they come in and get cupping at the very first signs of their illness, if they get the very first signs of the attack. Cupping works very great for preventing a cold or a flu from going into the stage of leaving you out of work for a week. If we catch it very early on, we can stop it in its tracks. So I decided to name my practice Silk Tree Healing Center because I have a relationship with the silk tree. And after I started studying Chinese medicine, I realized that it is actually Chinese medicine. You can see the silk tree, which is also called the mimosa tree, growing all over Virginia. And I've learned that it is actually an invasive species from China. But it's beautiful and it smells amazing. And one morning I was going for a walk before work, and this was during a particularly rough time in my life. I was feeling a little depressed because of situations. It was a spring morning and I was just drawn to these buds of this tree. They smelled so good and they looked so beautiful. They're just these little puffy flowers. And I picked a few of them and I took them to work with me, and I put them in a little glass on my desk. And my office smelled amazing that entire day. And I felt so good. I felt really euphoric all day long. I felt really happy. I felt really alive. And I didn't feel sad at all. And the funny part about it was, there was this man in my work who I had developed this really uncomfortable crush on, and he noticed, and he would come into my office and he would talk to me, and I would start to blush, and I really didn't want him there. It was really uncomfortable. And that day when I had these mimosa flowers on my desk, he came in to my office and he started to talk to me, and that point where I would just start to blush and feel really embarrassed, it never happened. And I was really curious because after spending the day feeling very euphoric from smelling these flowers, I thought maybe these flowers had something to do with that. So I looked up the flower essence for the mimosa flower, and apparently they protect you from psychic invasion. And so I thought that was really interesting. And then later, after I started to study Chinese medicine, I found out that He Huan Mu, which is the silk tree, the Chinese name of the silk tree, it translates to happiness union flower, and it helps to relieve constraint. So if you have pent-up emotions or pent-up energy in your body, this herb helps to move that, which is used often in cases of anxiety and depression. And so it's a very special plant to me, and I'm happy to honor it by naming my practice after it. So if you are suffering from some chronic illness, maybe some menstrual problems or fertility issues, anything that you can't find relief from with Western medicine or anything else you've tried, I would be delighted to investigate your case and to look really deeply to find a proper Chinese medicine diagnosis for you and to help you find relief. We would love to see you here at Silk Tree Healing Center.